loved game, and I'm probably going to say totally 2 or 3 or 4, 50 more times. All right. So we're going to be rolling between the one sheets created by a point of inspiration, based off of the lasers and feelings rule set. The games that we might be playing are either The Little Dance, Blood and Wine, or Doves and Demons. So I'm going to roll this d6. On a 1 or 2, it's going to be The Little Dance. 2 or 3, 3 or 4, Blood and Wine. 5 or 6, Doves and Demons. Let's see where we're going. Oh, God. You had to say you didn't want to play Doves and Demons again, huh? Alright. I don't know if it's an unfair advantage. Okay, so let me load up the Doves and Demons one sheet. Does everyone have access to it, or... Here, I'll throw it... Ay, my mouse. Alright, I'm just throwing the images into the group chat so you can open them up when you get a chance. And I'll also screen share. So, Doves and Demons. Right? The premise is that you are members of an organization that fights against the endless plague of monsters every night. A new apocalypse is unleashed on the world, and demons, ghouls, devils, fallen angels, and other twisted creatures boil up from hell. After centuries of fighting, most civilizations have fallen. Few havens are left. It is up to you to choose how to fight. Emulate the sacred dove, and wield a fragmented knowledge of divine miracles, or become the demon and tear your enemies apart. Whatever your choice, seek out Old Hunter Braun for your next mission. So as the steps for character creation, we'll choose a style for your character. Either ancient, cunning, cursed, edgy, merciless, non-human, pure, sexy, or weird. If you need to know the differences between those, that's on page 2. Any questions as far as the style of your characters? Dun, 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 dun. I'm screen sharing the second page right now, and I uploaded the image for the second page in the group chat. You want to be cursed. So you are cursed by something evil. It has given you some great benefit, but a great drawback as well. You do not know how to break it.
And seeing as I was torn between the last two, I'm going to choose the other one that I didn't choose last time, and I'll be weird.
You'll be weird?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Just to read what weird is in case anybody didn't watch the last one we did. It says, something about you just isn't right.
Is that
an arm or a tentacle?
Do you see colors and smell demon speech? What is it? You've made it work for you.
The wife is having to finish off her husband's sentences.
I do the same thing to my husband. I'm down to be ancient. You are so old that you remember a time before the endless apocalypse. Your age is supernatural, and you know much that others do not.
Boy! Alright.
What?
And what about you, Mike?
I believe I will go with cunning. Your mind is your sharpest blade. You can make plans on the fly and easily understand any situation you're put into.
Alright. So we will move to the next step, which is choosing a role for your character. So that's the alchemist, artificer, berserker, cleric, illusionist, necromancer, mastermind, slayer, or warlock.
I'm gonna jump in as a necromancer right off the bat.
No matter which game I play with you, there has to be a necromancer.
So many have died. You take their corpses and they serve you faithfully. The bone and blood of your enemies is your greatest weapon.
So you're an ancient. So you're a lich.
Hell yeah!
And she's supposed to be on the good guys' team?
You never know. You see, a lich needs people to survive so that they could use their bodies. If they're obliterated and eaten, well, it's not so,
And I'll go berserker. You're possessed by something angry, and the more hurt or stressed you are, the more it comes out,
So you're,
giving you impossible physical powers.
you're a
Or
cursed
powers. Berserker.
berserker. I'm just making note of everybody's stuff, just in case I need it. Do you know what you're being yet, Josh?
And I think I'll do illusionist.
So you're a weird illusionist. So illusionist is you have learned how to weave illusions through powders, poisons, and the eldritch and arcane. For some, these illusions are more real than reality itself. And you're a weird illusionist. Mike,
I believe I'll go with alchemist.
an alchemist. What was your style again?
Cunning.
Cunning oh god. I already know where this is going.
So many grenades.
I gotta be honest, I was like so hoping you would go with mastermind. I was like, oh, come on, cunning mastermind, right?
All right. Oh, but I think I know where it's going. I think I might know his name. But who knows? I could be wrong. Okay, so the next stage in... Oh, wait, I got Witness Me open. Oops. Is you choose your number from 2 to 9. The lower number you have, the closer to a demon you are, which is you're more drawn to doing aggressive actions, giving into your anger, being cruel, violent. The higher the number, the closer you are to being a dove, which is, they're like the heroes, the faithful, the ones who might still pray, compassionate and kind.
For me, I'll go 5.
So, yep, you don't know what you are. You're straight down the middle.
I'm gonna be a 3 because like I'm an asshole, but I kind of can have nice moments maybe once every couple millennia.
Okay.
I'll be a 6.
Oh, sweat.
So you'll be good?
I don't know.
Only just kind of.
You never are at home.
Okay, keep it in the game. Mike?
I will go 4.
4. So we have one kind of, sort of, almost good person.
Who is a cursed berserker.
Who is a cursed berserker, yes.
I don't know how that makes sense, but we'll work with it.
It is what
You're
it
like
is.
super optimistic about this.
You were, to be honest, this is probably the most optimistic you'll probably hear.
You are. You're the nicest person in the entire team of people.
Okay.
You just
Oh,
don't react to
thanks, man.
disappointment very well. Okay, so now you guys choose your names.
We could pick any name.
Any name.
Last game I was Tutti Frutti.
Unfortunately.
I'll be testicles.
What? Oh no. No, why? Are you sure?
Yeah, because it actually catches my attention.
Oh golly.
So in order to actually pay attention, just say testicles.
Yeah, that's it's a great name.
Thanks.
Woo.
Leave it to my wife. And I'm assuming you are putting this on your YouTube channel.
It is. It is.
Oh, wish someone would have told me. No, I'm kidding. I don't care.
That was your husband's responsibility.
Really? I always knew he wasn't responsible.
Oh, thanks, dear.
Yeah, so about our necromancer, illusionist, and alchemist, what would we call them?
Morda.
What? Morta?
Yeah.
That's like more duh. Like that?
Yeah, Morda.
Alright, cool.
I believe that you've already correctly guessed that I'm going to be bringing back a character.
Which character was that? Just unleash the name.
Dr. Justice Montenegro.
I'll be Houdini.
And Houdini. Okay. A weird. All right, Houdini. Now we choose the organization, right? Well, there's a quick thing. Choose your character's goal on average, and your look. But I'm interested in finding out this group's organization. You pick 2 strengths and 1 problem.
Hold on, tell him what you just told me.
I'm not gonna tell him. You're making me feel you're belittling me.
We choose 2 as a group.
Oh, which is supposed to do?
Creative, I think.
Oh, we choose the number as a group of what our goal is?
No, we choose 2
Those are
different
your-
organizations.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 options for your organization. There's savaged, blessed, focused, spy network, advanced weaponry, creative, and old knowledge. Depending on the tags that you choose, may alter the amount of dice you roll when it's time
Okay.
to roll dice to see whether or not you do good or bad.
Okay.
Well, here's
So we
a
all-
suggestion. Just this is my 2 cents. Is old knowledge and advanced weaponry make a lot of sense for our group.
True.
I guess I just am leaning against that because that was
Okay.
what we chose last time, but I guess that works.
What do you think? We can switch it up.
I was leaning to more savage.
Yeah. Okay.
And
All right. So
yeah,
savage and
I'm down for creative or advanced weaponry.
yeah, I still think we should keep at least one of the 2 that you guys said, but I think Savage kind of makes a little bit more sense.
okay. Let's do savage and advanced weaponry then.
Oh,
I'm okay
jeez.
with that. You? Creative and Savage?
Who
It
wants
was-
some white phosphorus bombs?
I thought it was advanced weaponry and savage.
Yeah, I thought it was a.
Or
I thought
Advanced
it was-
Weaponry, sorry.
So those 2?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Advanced Weaponry and Savage.
That sounds good.
So savage. Your organization is known for fighting savagely with much collateral damage and leaving mountains of bodies in your wake. You're also known for advanced weaponry. Your hunter's tools are so advanced that they cannot be replaced, but they can do impossible things too, like shoot lasers and teleport bombs. Okay. And you have to pick a problem for your organization. So you could be recklessly efficient. People always die, but the job gets done. You have few members. If one of you die, the organization will collapse. You can be a ragtag rookies. Not much information about the creatures you face. Or haunted. There is a curse or haunting on your organization and its members.
A part of me wants to go recklessly efficient.
I
because of
second
the
it.
chose.
I agree.
Same here.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
Oh boy.
All right, so 3 out of the 4 are choosing recklessly efficient. What do you think, Michael?
Oh yeah, no, I agreed.
See, Mike agreed so fast.
That you didn't quite catch it.
You had to be paying attention to catch it. So the recklessly efficient group. Give me a
this is
second to roll up what is happening. What is the hunt? Oh. You guys want to know or have this be unveiled?
Since we do not have old world knowledge, I don't want to know.
Yeah, and let's face it, this is an improv game, so it's better that we don't know.
The
Okay.
best kind of prize is a surprise.
Unless you're talking about explosives.
What?
I don't like the implications of that.
I be getting some wild rolls.
Worse than last time?
I just got to come up with something. That's all it is.
Infinite Roleplay presents Attack of the Demon Pandas.
Could be. Maybe not this game, but it could be. All right, so we'll say that you guys, since you have advanced weaponry and you're savages, you're more like. What do you guys think of this, as far as protecting the haven? Or let me ask you, how would your team want to protect this haven that you're from?
Recklessly, of course.
Protect this haven we're from.
Yeah, are you guys like not necessarily roving bandits, but you know, you live on the outside of the haven as its guardians in a way, without ever being members of it because you're savages? Or
I see it more as we're a bunch of assholes that don't want the world to end.
I would say it more so like bounty hunter.
Yeah, or something
Kinda
like
like
that.
them.
Like, there's got to be something in it for us.
Yeah. We do kind of like bounty hunter. We're reckless but efficient. We get the job done.
okay,
With as much collateral damage as possible.
Exactly.
okay, so wait, hold on.
This, I must say, is going to be extremely weird and random.
It is.
I
All
love
right,
it.
I got you. So you guys are like bounty hunters, right? So you know of several of the last few cities, the last safe havens of Earth, or this planet formerly known as Bark, formerly known as Earth, right? And it's a hellish landscape, especially between the between these safe havens, between these last bastions of human civilization. Mike, name something that your savage group is accustomed to within this hellscape but that we, the players and viewers, might see as outrageous or outlandish, or just plain weird.
Oh, the eating of brains straight from the skull.
What was that, Mike?
Yeah, my voice got really weird there for a minute. It must be the wine. I would believe it would be the various deep blood red sky portals that open up every so often to spit out demons.
Wow.
Quite a nuisance.
And I'm thinking the minions of the world eating human brain straight from the skull.
Okay, brain eating. So, by straight from the skull, do you mean from like live people?
Sure, we can go with that. I mean, it is doves and demons. Might as well make it creepy.
I was thinking more impaling, like Vlad the Impaler. Stick the stick up the rectum.
Okay, so forests of the impaled.
Okay. That sounds nice.
And Chelsea?
I missed the question.
You you guys are savages that travel from safe haven to safe haven. So you live in this hellscape in between these havens.
Okay.
What is something that for your characters is something that you see every day? It's an everyday occurrence, but for us, the players and participants and creators of this world, is something odd, weird, out of place, disgusting, something that just isn't right.
Hordes of mindless beings, maybe past humans. They're not like zombies or anything. They're just like you'll come across a field of these things, and they're just like standing there, like staring up at the sky.
So hordes of mindless creatures that do nothing.
Yeah, and they're like rotting. So they're like zombies, but they don't attack.
That do nothing other
Yes.
than die. Other than slowly rot.
Yes.
So, just a sampling of the hellscape that your group travels through. It's... You come across hordes of mindless creatures that are like fields. You know, these bodies seeming almost to sprout from the ground that do nothing but stand there and slowly rot away. Other than those fields of rotting creatures, you come across forests, but not forests in the sense that you would expect, but the forest of the impaled dead. Probably the victims of having their brains eaten from their skulls while still alive. Or maybe they were impaled by the demons pouring out of the blood-red sky portals that you would see opening up occasionally. This is quite the hellscape. All right, so traveling the hellscape, your mercenary group gets jobs in many different types of ways, many different. There's certain drop areas, like there might be a certain body impaled on a stake that's hollowed out with a door that's hidden, and you can pop on the door and get a message. Maybe you have an area to drop letters from hunters and whatnot, and in a field of these hordeless, rotting people. But in this message, You're searching, one of your drop spots, and you see a very, very old man. His beard is grown down to his waist. It's strangly. He seems to be wearing bits of rotted out armor. Like the metal itself is ancient. The design almost foreign. And he's keeping himself upright, not just with a walking stick, but there seems to be some bladed weapon or the remnants of a bladed weapon there. Most of the metal of the blade has been rotted and rusted away with time. As a matter of fact, being as old as you are, Morta, you can tell that this ancient man, this decrepit, crumbling form of a man, is what's left of old Hunter Braun. And he turns and locks his gaze with you. Without saying a word, he extends an old, desiccated hand, wrinkled with almost as many years as even you've been alive. He waves to your group, waves you over. What do you guys do?
Now, is it day or night?
It can be either.
Well, I'll just say good evening, dear sir.
We haggle with him.
Okay, you haggle.
It's my first time.
What's your goal?
Yeah, what?
Why did he approach us? We
Okay.
ask him a couple of questions of where he's from, why he's
Okay,
so...
do that in character.
Oh, okay. My what?
I'll show you. Watch. Morta drifts across the landscape up to Old Braun, her robes hanging off her like a mist. Her face is shrewn and sagging with equal wrinkles and creases that would rival even this man's. And she looks down at him and says, "Such a pity. What happened to you?"
Time. Time is something even the greatest of us can't always escape.
Old friend. I see as though it's caught up with you. And she looks over her shoulder to test her old friend.
For giving me the nickname. As Tess looks over to the old man Braun, she does not feel any pity for him. She just wants to know what time has given to him and what can it give to us. She asks, what knowledge do you bring to us from time?
There you go.
Knowledge is to be earned, young one. Earned with the losing of your youth. The passing of your ability to move so freely. As he examines you, watching how you move, observing your motions. But I do have one thing. I would ask this a favor, but I know better of you. And he starts rummaging around in a backpack that he's wearing.
I have a question. Is Braun just like super old, or is he like on his deathbed old?
He may look like he's on his deathbed old, but being a necromancer, you can tell he's not really dying.
Okay.
He just looks like he is.
Okay.
So he rummages around in an old backpack that it it's of an old foreign design. It has some inscription on the front of it. It's hard to read. There's a J and then there's an A. The rest is kind of peeled away. You would seek payment for your services, yes.
Morta takes a deep breath and she looks over her shoulder to her other two party members and she says, "Feel no pity for him. He's long from his deathbed yet. Take payment as you see fit."
What do you have to offer, old man?
Don't forget to unpause.
You have to unmute when you talk. Okay, nobody's talking?
No, 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 no. I was talking. It's just my husband forgot to tell me that he muted it. Sorry. It says, "What do you have to offer, old man, as payment?" She says sternly.
Reach into the sack and find out.
We don't have all day.
He just lays his sack on the floor and he pushes back, supporting himself with this ancient rotting weapon.
Leaning over almost sideways as if he was standing straight but turned left, looking at the man. He reaches into the bag, not like a normal person would, bending down, but reaching sideways into the bag, reaching for whatever is in store for him on the inside.
What is it that you pull out?
As he reaches into the bag, he feels around and he feels a lot of different sharp edges. But the one thing that catches his feel is something that is unlike everything he touches. It is smooth, which, compared to everything else inside the bag, is rather unique. As he pulls this thing from the bag, he looks at it. It is an orb of some sort. It is gold in nature, but it has engravings that he doesn't understand. It's almost as if it's been a language that has been forgotten through the ages. But staring at it, almost distantly trying to understand it, it becomes warm to the touch. He looks to the man who stands before him, who asked for them to reach into the bag, and asks, "What might this be? And what is it?"
It might be anything you imagine. It might not. But what it is your payment.
Justice, you've a rather sharp mind. What is this?
Finally being aroused from his own thoughts, Justice sees this strange-looking orb glowing around the arm of his companion, and he briskly walks over, just simply snatching it from him and examining it closely. I'm not sure. I enjoy that. There's not many things I don't know. This is one of them. And just looks at all the markings and engravings.
As he analyzes the engravings, it's as if there was a poof in front of his face, and it reappears back into my hand.
Terribly rude.
You know what? I think this would be a fun time to do a roll.
All right.
So, no,
Who
no,
would you
this
like
is
to
for
roll and what
this
you
is
would
for
want?
Houdini. For poofing the orb back into your own hand.
Okay.
Um, this doesn't really sound like a demon roll. It's more, I guess, of a dove roll. Or I'll let you choose whether it is, because it's actually pretty neutral. So, do you want to roll a dove or as a demon?
Ooh. I will roll this as a dove.
As a dove,
Just because it's part of his illusionary background to just do like little parlor tricks and like poof it back into his hand.
okay.
So it had no real malintent. It was just kind of
Yeah. So, roll with 2 dice.
okay. And I always this is always the part that I forget. Seeing as I'm rolling 2 dice, what am I looking for?
Doves need a result that's under your number. So your number is 5. You have to get less than 5 for a success.
Okay, so would I take the lesser of the 2, or would I
No, just let me know
add
how
the
many
2?
are under 5.
Neither?
Neither. Okay.
I
Are
got a
any of them
7 and a 9.
a 7 and a 9? All right. So when you do the poof, it does indeed poof. And as the smoke clears from your hand and Justice Montenegro says, "Terribly rude." You have some sort of a file of some sort, one of his concoctions. You know
Saving
not
that
which.
for later.
I didn't hear what you said, Michael.
I said I was saving that for later.
Indeed, it seems you shall. You have eluded even my magical powers.
So the old man makes his way back towards the sack. He zips the zipper of the backpack up, kind of clumsily puts it back on his back, and he's struggling to stand erect, failing at it. Actually, you have your payment. Now, the task I require you for. To the south. Far to the south. There is a creature. Most old. From beyond the oldest texts, even. It is performing rituals, delving deep into the darkest depths to sustain itself. But its life, what it requires for its life, is destroying everything around it. It is bringing back those long past. Those who no longer seek to protect what little is left of this world. I need you to stop this creature.
And as he says, "Stop this creature," you see a big cloud of smoke come up from his legs as he pops up right behind him and says, "What kind of creature are we talking about?"
As you say that, you can feel something pointy in your gut as you stand behind him. Looking down, his other hand just seems to have an elongated dagger pointed right at you, though the old man hadn't seemed to move.
Rather pointy, I see you are. Might I suggest that if you wish to see another day, that you remove that from my stomach
And tell me what you wish from me. Kind of rubbing his fingers on the backside of his face. The back of his fingers against his face.
Yeah. The old man, you can't see it because you're behind him, but the old man cracks a grin. It almost those of you who are in front can almost see the skin cracking and crumbling as he's gritting. As I was saying, and he doesn't even bother to look behind you, and he's not removing the dagger at all. He still has it pointed straight behind him, right at your gut.
Tess goes in, like, enough, old man. What creature is to the south?
Some believe it to be God. Some believe it to be a monster. But it brings back humans from the depths of hell to worship it. Then they send others from whence then they themselves came. It must be stopped. And I am
This
far
old-
too old for this. Good?
Or the only stop it, old man?
Okay, you kind of roboted out. Say that again?
So this
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
your
hear
mic's
you.
freaking out.
Yeah.
sorry. I'm not here. This orb, the only stop it.
I don't know. It's either your mic or your internet connection that's bugging out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, it might be just my headphone.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now we hear you.
So is this orb the only way to stop it?
No, child, that's our payment to go stop it. This is why you young'uns should really listen to your elders.
Well, that's how I ended up possessed.
Explains a lot.
And besides, the elderly among us tend to speak so slowly. I can barely slow myself down to be able to keep pace. And besides, that is of unimportance. We have a grand opportunity to be able to study this creature and learn of its powers. Perhaps a new scientific inquiry will come of it. I am giddy with excitement.
How do you plan on studying it if we are paid to destroy it?
There's nothing saying we cannot do both. There's much to be learned after death.
Popping up behind. What did you say your name was, Michael?
Justice Montenegro.
Popping up right behind Justice, almost holding his shoulders very close to him. I like the way you think.
Yes, Yoda.
I like the way I think as well.
But at the same time, and in that same instance, he pops back up behind the old man, kind of finger to the point of the dagger, so that way it doesn't stab him in the gut. I feel there is something that this man is not telling us about.
The old man begins to almost dismissively turn around. But he doesn't do it in one step. It takes him 2 or 3 steps. He seems to struggle to move. He turns to face Houdini. And he starts walking. He taps you on the shoulder. Also, almost as if you were just a child to him. I have told you what I have come to say. And I have answered what I've been asked.
So this creature that you say that brings human back to life or life back to whatever, how do we kill it? Or destroy it, whatever.
He nods his head slowly. Yes, that is a good question. And then he just grins again. Happily one that I do not have to answer.
Then I suppose since we've taken payment away, then southward we shall go.
Where exactly south do we find this creature?
Far, far south.
Far indeed.
I would assume there would be the typical signs of such a creature. I'm sure we'll stumble upon it within a matter of time.
Indeed, it does not exactly sound subtle.
And seeing as the old man had almost, pretty much giving him all the information that he chooses to give, he asked the old man a joke. What goes on tomorrow?
What goes on?
And as he responds, the blade that he had to Houdini's gut turns up behind his heart, stabbing him directly in the heart as he savagely puts him to rest, accepting his payment. And as he accepts his payment, and as the old man falls to the floor, seeing as he was so close to death anyway, he says, "Thank you for the payment. We will indeed accept your request," laughing almost unhumanly. Starting to walk to the south.
When the
Once
old man
more, terribly rude.
when the old man's body hits the floor, he shatters like glass. And everything that he was carrying blows away like dust. And the shards of glass all sprout little legs like spiders and crawl into the ground.
I feel as though that's going to crawl up and bite us in the ass later on. Good job.
Dr.
Looking
Justice
over,
is quickly going to grab a notepad and just start writing down all the details about the old man splitting into shards of glass and burying themselves in the ground. A few new ideas.
kind of almost as she says that, though, you see Houdini picking up one of these pieces of glass, probably the last one to go into the glass, looking to what did you say your name, your character's name was DM Night Hag?
Morda.
Morda, looking to Morda and saying, "This?" Handing it over, the little shard of glass that had fallen that he had picked up, over to her.
It turns into a spider-like creature as he drops it into her hand, and she kind of wiggles her fingers, letting it dangle from its thin thread, and lets it slip down into the earth and sink in. And she says, "Well, at least one of us, and surprisingly enough, it's me, has mercy." And I would like to kind of almost test the waters, because I have a feeling that he's not dead. So I'm just kind of like trying to make a pool at like what would be his like being with my necromancy powers, just to kind of like test and see if there's anything like there.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know whether or not this would be a dove or demon thing. I'm thinking because it's necromancy, it'll probably be a demon roll.
Okay. With my luck, I'm gonna roll for those. How many do you want me to roll? 1, 2, 1.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, it is for the better good. She's not necessarily doing it to help herself, just to help him.
Well, you don't know my intentions.
That is
Yeah.
also true.
You don't know my intentions. So what do you want me to do? Just one?
Let's see. You guys are what again for a group? You're savage and advanced.
Savage, yeah.
Yeah, so I think probably just one.
Okay, I got a 5.
You're good to go.
My number was 3, so.
So you can tell that the essence of Braun has not dissipated.
Okay.
That he's
I'm going to keep this information to myself.
okay.
And kind of like as the group is beginning to disperse at the end and head southward, I kind of just whisper a message to the wind to let him know, wasn't my fault.
Okay.
Just in case.
So so you guys start heading south?
I'm down to head south.
Yes. Of course. That was, of course, his dying wish.
You know, at some point, we really must talk about this wanton slaughter. We will not get many other customers if we keep killing those few that we do have.
Well, of course it is the end of the world. There
Not
will
much to
be
live for.
bound to be another person eventually.
Still, mind your manners. Stab them from the front, not the back.
Allow me to warn you, you strange little creature. If you try to do that again, I will be so intrigued and enticed to stop you.
Popping up at the very sound of the fact that she wants to stop me. Popping up right in front of her, face to face. Oh, might that very much be the case?
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna go horribly. Being the fickle creature that she is, as you pop up and just as the words kind of come out of your mouth, her hand juts upwards, black fingertips that have decayed into sharp points digging into your skin. It's almost instinctive, as if she doesn't mean it and realizes that as soon as she's done it. But regardless, she gives you this forceful shove that I would hope would knock you back like 10 feet.
All right. I think that's just
Has
call for a
anybody
roll.
seen Black Butler?
Yes.
You remember Grell?
Kind of, yeah.
That's kind of who I'm being at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm very intrigued, even at the pain that is being caused to me. Just kind of like that whole.
Mhm.
It's the person who he's like intrigued with the most, kind of showing him the attention, even if it's negative attention.
Yeah, so basically just like these like, just disgusting claws dig into your neck and you get shoved backwards and she kind of just scoffs at you.
Ooh, darling.
Harder
I
next
wouldn't have
time.
it anyway. As Testicles says, harder next time.
Any harder and I'm afraid he might break. And as much as I hate to admit him, at the moment I think we need him.
For future reference, and just saying this to everyone, no one in particular, if you are going to stab me, I recommend stabbing me in the chest, not the head.
You
I like
wouldn't
my
want
brain.
that pretty little face messed up now, would you?
No, I'm much more concerned with the things behind it. I have a lot of information in here. I've worked very hard at it.
Oh yes, that's why I
Now,
keep you
now.
around. I can't wait until you... never mind.
Oh,
I kind of imagine as
Don't
he
be prude
says,
with it. I will be technically wonderful once I am perished. But until then, there's work to be done.
I kind of
Yes,
think,
yes. Hands off until you stop bleeding.
I kind of think as he says, like the whole thing that about behind the skull, that right behind him is like a goblin or something sipping out of a human being's head, the actual brain itself, into its mouth. You know, like that whole what that foreshadowing behind it, like as he says, you know, it's the things behind the skull. The things behind the skull in the background are going into the goblin's mouth.
So I'm kind of with that. I'm kind of getting like the image as you guys are traveling southward and having this little let's call it friendly banter. That there are these goblinoid creatures and there's like people, like you weren't paid to save these people, so you're just letting them go through what they're going through. And these little goblinoid creatures that have like, there's these humans with like the tops of their heads shaved off, and you can see like their eyes twitching, and they're like like they've been lobotomized. And you just hear like a dog's tongue lapping at water as these goblins lap into the skulls and pull out brain matter. The actual sound effect wasn't necessary.
Thank you.
But appreciated anyway.
No, thank you. Good job.
But yeah, so moving right along, you guys start traveling southward, right? And you travel through this hellscape again. God bless you, brother. You witness more poor little human victims getting their brains lapped out. You pass forests of the impaled, another field of mindless, rotting creatures, and it seems to be getting a bit warmer, and the landscape starts to change in ways that you guys haven't really seen before. This is further south than you've ever been. Dulce, or testicles.
Tess for short.
What about the landscape is different and odd, even to your characters that have been traveling the hellscape for years?
Different about specifically my character?
No,
Or-
The landscape.
the
Oh,
landscape.
the landscape. Well, these not only are bitten or cut off from the head and been lobotomized, but they also seem to be like, reaching a forest of impaled people.
Yeah, what's
who've been
different?
Tortured.
What's different about the landscape?
That's normal to us. So what's different?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like the polar opposite.
So kind of like the what?
The polar opposite.
There's a nice green meadow filled with flowers. And there's actually birds chirping and everything. It's peace and tranquil.
All right, so you travel the hellscape, and you have now borne witness to the beginnings of this oasis. It is a beautiful, lush green meadow. You can hear the chirping of these odd animals. Morta's probably ancient enough to have remembered these things as birds, as they're a growingly extinct species or nearing extinct species. You can hear, I guess, what sounds like running water from a crystal clear stream, but something about the stream also looks different and odd and foreign to your characters. Mike, what is different and foreign about this stream?
In this small flowing stream, there are small, they're very difficult to see if you're not paying attention, but they are small shards of a clear material that are razor sharp.
So there's little as you guys are walking through the stream, do you share this knowledge?
Oh, I'm not sure if I'm exactly going to share the knowledge, but I am definitely going to collect some samples. This could prove useful later.
So you're collecting samples, and as
And I am going to say to the rest of my traveling companions, if you are to drink the water of this stream, please allow me to know. I would like to take notes.
So as
I-
yeah, go ahead.
As Testicles takes a drink from the water, seeing as her curiosity gotten the best of her. And it doesn't kill her instantly, or doesn't kill her at all, I should say. I don't know how to put it.
Let's just say she's in excruciatingly painful discomfort as these razor sharp shards are cutting your esophagus on the way down.
Yes.
I asked you to let me know beforehand. Now let me catch up on my notes. As he
It's
furiously
hard to
scribbles
catch
in his
up if I'm
notepad.
dying here.
Yes, we'll deal with that in a minute.
You know what, Chelsea, as Tess drinks the water and as these shards are cutting her from the inside, you're quick to notice, the blood coming from her mouth, especially when she starts talking to Dr. Justice Montenegro. But you also notice something odd about the landscape, and you notice that it reacts in some way to Tess drinking the water. How is that?
It's not so much the drinking of the water, but the blood, the little drops of blood hitting the ground. Every time a drop hits the dirt, a pulse kind of emanates from it. And you feel this almost suction. It's, if you've ever stood in the ocean and felt the water pool under just before a giant wave comes, that's what it feels like. It feels like something is pulling at your body. A force, like this unnerving feeling in the pit of your stomach.
Okay. So you guys feel like you're being pulled, and the feeling that you get, the feeling of this pulling, of this, some intangible force pulling at you. It feels like it's continuing to pull you southward. This unnerving force.
It appears as though we're on the right track. Justice, do take your notes, because this is quite the find.
Oh, believe me, I have not stopped taking notes in quite some time. My wrist is starting to get quite tired.
Well, while you're at it, that little songbird over there, the black one, beautiful raven is what it was once called.
Yes. Remind me to get a blood sample.
Oh, no worries. And she kind of just like reaches her hands up and snatches a raven out of the sky and snaps its neck.
And without flinching, Dr. Justice takes a second to break from his notes, pulls out an empty vial, and hands it to his necromancer friend and says, "Oh, thank you. I might need that later."
She kind of just like wrings it like a dirty dish rag over the vial.
And as the blood flows into the vial, it poofs, and a bouquet of flowers pop up in the vial that the blood was dripping into. As the bouquet of flowers, red from the blood, blue from the morning sky, and purple from the ever-loving royalty in his blood, just pop up in flower form into the thing. And Houdini just reaches over to the vial and says thank you, handing it over to the old woman.
Tess, do us a favor, love, and deal with Houdini.
Really?
Yes, it's your turn this time.
Okay. So as I recuperate from almost being killed by the water, I get up and say, thanks for the help, guys.
Oh, actually, I meant to mention this, but we kind of moved on. Sorry about that. As a necromancer, I would like to, because I feel like as though it's part of my powers, or it's within my skill set, to not heal, but give the illusion of numbness. So she's not healed, but it doesn't quite hurt so bad, like a numbing agent. It's how I get my corpses to keep moving after they're stabbed.
Okay.
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 As the alchemical genius that I am, I'm going to quickly, his hands moving somewhat as a blur, pull out a large jug of a mysterious blue liquid and a small glass, which he's going to pour some of the blue liquid into, followed by various other vials. Place his hand over it and shake it, then pull out a small white tablet from his back pocket and hand them both to Tess, saying, "Drink this, and once you're done vomiting, take this."
Like, meanwhile, like what I would love to be happening right now, we've all been doing this, and we think we've been standing still, but we've actually been pulsing slowly southwards, like across the bridged river, and like we've been like we like look up from our interactions and we're like, what?
Yeah. And you could tell that
I kind of think
this-
as sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but as she was saying, as he was saying, as Justice was saying, after you vomit, take this. I pop up behind a goblin and grab one of the skulls that had already had the blood sucked
There's
out,
no
and it's
goblins here.
just
yeah.
There's no
just
goblins
the-
here. This is
Well,
this
okay,
is a beautiful field.
Oh, fine. One of the skulls that were laying on the floor, uses it to scoop up some water and pops up right next to Tess with a skull filled with water.
I slap it out of his hand and say, "Stop it."
Take. Aww.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But yeah, like I was saying, is that as you guys are pulsing southward, by the time you notice that you've actually moved, you're surrounded by trees and vines. There's nothing but green, like lush greenery all around you. The trees are tall, far taller than you've ever seen anything alive growing out of the ground. You've seen the remnants of old ancient skyscrapers crumbling. You've seen spires and obelisks, but this is the only living thing this tall you've ever seen sprouting from the ground. As a matter of fact, as you guys are being pulsed further and further to the south, the heat begins rising and rising to the point where it's sweltering, and the the sun is being blotted out by the canopy of the tree line. Small, simple rays of light are all that's peering through.
Houdini kind of stands in this moment, awestruck by the fact that, given all of his magical powers, you can say, he has never seen anything with such beauty and such elegance. He is stuck in this moment, kind of reminiscing about the stories that he was told about before the apocalypse, before evil reigned, before him himself, realizing that the world before him was so much better than the world that he is living in now. Kind of pulled back from the very essence of time itself, escorting itself in the time of now, seeing such beauty and being stopped almost in its tracks with such wonder.
DM, would you say that I'm old enough to think, or perhaps make the assumption that this could be a grand illusion? Or just a suspect, like in my old age, and as much as I've traveled, to be like completely disbelieving that this could be real. Is that plausible?
Yeah, I think you'd be old enough to recognize what it is.
Yeah. So I kind of look back to Houdini, see him stuck in the moment, and I kind of feel that same connection, except I remember it from my own childhood before the world ended. And I look to him and I say, your mind was warped by such a sad and tired age, but there was once a time when this world was great and many, and unfortunately you'll never live to see it again.
Is there ever a chance that we might have this again?
If there's anything I can say about it, as he's currently chipping off of various tree samples to be able to add to his collection.
No, Justice, that's not how it works. And she hands him a pine cone.
Justice, or everyone, you guys are bantering forward, and like you said, you're sort of unconsciously moving deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
As this pulse draws you southernly. You can all see a very narrow shaft, like a dart, fly from the shadows of some brush. And it flies at breakneck speeds. It's piercing through the air. There's a slight whistle as it does. And Dr. Justice Montenegro, it'll actually clip you like in your shoulder and fully pierce your shoulder. It's stuck, half the shaft coming out of your back and the other half coming out of the front of your shoulder.
I'd like to think that as he was holding the pine cone was exploded out of his hand, and he's been stabbed through the shoulder, and he just looks. Well then.
I do believe we're under attack.
Indeed, it appears I have been impaled. Excuse me for a moment. Ah!
Tess quick thinkingly tries to grab some water from her water jug and goes to the stream and tries to see where our attackers are before she throws it.
Tess, you move.
Mm-hmm.
When you move to the stream, there's another one of these darts that breaks through the brush but it seems to come from somewhere else, not from the same place. It comes from a different angle. And it strikes you, but you were looking for these guys now. And as it flies your way, this one will strike you. It strikes you like in your left sort of calf area. But you were moving, so it doesn't hit clean. It only slices you. But
So grazes.
yeah, that's the word I wanted to use. It leaves you with a grazing wound. But you can notice eyes and motion. And the eyes look like they're glowing a deep, deep red before they fade back into the brush.
I check up on the other my other companions to see if they were wounded. Not so much other than just me and Justice.
As Tess kind of returns from that stream and she sees the jug of water in her hands and the blood coming from her calf, she turns to Houdini and says, "To the trees, I mean, those tall things. See if you can spot something. Poof up there."
But it is not an illusion if you know what is coming. Almost poofing halfway across the land above the tree line. What do I see?
Halfway above the tree line, you see.
Yeah, kind of like standing above the trees, like on top of like a leaf.
Like a
Almost
helicopter.
as, yeah, somewhat like a helicopter, but it looks like he's standing on just the leaf. Like the tip of his toes are standing on like what would be a tree leaf, but it looks like as if he was actually standing there on an actual tree leaf. He should fall straight through, but it's as if he's like hovering above the tree line.
Light as a feather. Got it.
Yeah. So what you can see looking down is the thickness of this canopy. There's most of the trees are growing intertwined with one another, almost to purposefully block out most of the sun and most of the view of anything above. So it's very difficult to see through. Even your allies are but silhouettes to you at this height. They're represented more by motion and the sound that you could hear. But
Mortis shouts up, "Do you see anything moving?"
You do see something moving. There's several figures moving in the canopy, slightly closer to you. But in a single moment, all these figures seem to drop down. And they land surrounding everyone but you, Houdini, as your party's on the ground. The rest of you who are on the ground see these figures, and
I kind of think as they were like falling, he's just like, yeah, and then as he was saying yes, they were like already surrounding the rest of the party.
All right. So again, there's these several figures surrounding the party. There are various various muscle builds. They all look human. They're almost entirely naked. Right? They seem to be wearing only furs of some foreign creature, some foreign spotted creature. Maybe feline in origin. Every one of the figures has deep, glowing red eyes, and you all notice that every one of them, their chest, there is an old orifice right about where the heart should be. So each of them has a hole in their chest, and these holes
Are they
aren't
dead?
bleeding.
Are they dead though? Are they dead?
You being a necromancer would expect them to be dead, but they're not.
Damn it!
And they're just screaming out in some foreign language. What do you guys do?
Popping up behind one, almost as if he was hugging one. Not realizing what it was. Realizing it kind of decays upon its touch. Wishes almost instinctively that it would feel its touch as he touches its face, whispering in its ears, "What might you be?"
So you poofed back down.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I missed when you said that.
Well, it's kind of like as it happened, he realized that it kind of like decayed upon its touch, and then as it decayed upon its touch, poofed back into the party.
Okay, you lost me. I don't know what decayed upon what touch. But
Upon its touch, like the as it like as he touched it, it like broke apart, kind of thing.
oh, all right. So yeah, it pieces of its skin seem to have given way to, cracks, and you might see red light coming out of the cracks. Um, and when your hand moves away, they just heal right up. But it turns around and it swings. It swings this board at you. This board, being so skilled with advanced weaponry, it looks similar to a chainsaw, but with no moving parts. And all the blades they're as black as the darkest shadow. So yeah, it swings one of these, and he swings at your leg, eviscerating your thigh, Houdini. What do the rest of you do as they all move in as well?
I'm gonna do something creepy as shit. Morta slowly lifts like the skirt of her robes, and from underneath of it, these two rotting corpses just kind of slither out and kind of stand guard in front of her. We're talking like Game of Thrones shadow shit just gave birth to it. Like it's gnarly shit. And they kind of mirror the creatures kind of in front of them, but not like a chainsaw. It's instead like their hands kind of in either edge are like these two dark blades in either hand, and these creatures seem actually rather small, almost the form of two children. And if I'm allowed to as well, I would like to have them kind of attack.
All right. So
You can tell me how that works.
So I think because attacking is a pretty violent thing. And I absolutely love the description, and there seems to be subtext behind the description. You can roll with 3 dice.
All right, chill. All right, let's see here. All right, 1 for demon, 2 for demon, and 1 for dove.
So you gained 2 successes.
Yes.
All right, so 2 dice. You do it well. You do it well. Good job.
How well is it though?
You can
is it enough to kill, or
yeah? You can describe how you each one decimated one of these targets.
Okay. They slither out from the robes, and as they kind of stand to their full, very small stature, they kind of scream. And when they scream, it sounds like 1,000 children crying when their mouths open. And they lunge forward, stabbing at thighs and waists until the two creatures drop to their knees, and they just kind of rip and claw at throats and eyes and faces until it's a mangled, ball of red light coming outside of the flesh.
Yeah. So there's just there's but a little of whatever these things are remaining, though they look human. Um. So from Testicles and Doctor Justice, how are you guys responding to these things charging at you?
Dr. Justice, in a moment of pained expression, gains a bit of inspiration. Removing the darts from his shoulder, he finds the inside to be slightly hollow. It is meant to hold a charge. So, with the various things that he has accumulated thus far, including his patented, I know patents don't mean much in the post-apocalypse, but patented healing concoction, along with the blood sample he took earlier, a few of his own secret ingredients. He shakes up the syringe, well, as close to a syringe as he's going to get, and attempts to stab one of the perpetrators in the neck and inject it into his bloodstream.
Okay, so that sounds like it's a demon roll. Wait, you said it was a healing concoction?
It was a healing concoction that works by basically rewriting your genetic code.
What do you
I
think,
see what he's
Liz?
going for. I see what he's going for.
That's a
It's
dove roll if
healing.
I've ever
That
heard
sounds
one.
dovey. Yeah, because it's
Healing,
healing.
yes, but I am attempting to turn him into a raven.
Into a raven?
I did collect the
It's
blood
like
sample
he's
earlier.
trying to turn
Okay.
him into his own side. So it's like
I still think it's dove.
it's
I gotta
like
be
he's
honest.
trying to heal him to his own side. So it's kind of like that
No.
medium.
I mean, dove, demon, I'm injecting him and seeing what happens.
I think okay, I'll say it's a demon roll because I'm imagining the transformation like cracking his bones.
Oh no,
And-
it's extraordinarily painful.
Yeah. So I like this idea. Um that's pretty advanced weaponry cuz it's chemically advanced. And I like the fact that you're using the arrow that pierced you. So roll with 3 dice.
Okay. That is not a good sign.
Oh, okay. What'd you get?
I rolled 6, 6, and 6.
Oh, jeez.
That's a good sign.
So you get a critical success. The GM tells you some extra effect.
Oh, I actually forgot something.
Yeah.
The blood sample was changed from a raven. So instead of raven, he may be turning into a flower. Thank you, Houdini.
That's right. Good God. Okay, so
You're welcome.
I'm imagining like vines and flowers growing out of the orifice where his heart was. You know, and like spreading out, and I guess for the extra effect, he kind of like will look like he's being sucked in from like the back, like collapsing in on himself as the vines pull everything that was in him out and spreads out and impales.
Yeah, there was raven blood mixed in, so make sure you add that.
Good God, really? All right. So it spreads all over the place, and it impales one of the others. So that all that's left is what looks like half a man strung up through all these vines, right? These vines have like the remnants of, the occasional black feather, and all you see are like these large black eyes, and with the guy's mouth, it looks like a 4-part beak, sort of separated. Like his skull cracked in those 4 places to allow for a beak, but you can still see like a human.
Predator.
You still see like a human tongue, and you see like the red light coming out from the wounds, but they don't seem to be sealing, and he falls limp, and so too does the other one of the hunters that was attacking you as he's impaled with the vines.
Justice just looks at them, looks at his pine cone, or what's left of his pine cone.
And what does testicles do? There's 2 of these things left. 2 of these men who are near naked, wearing the furs of some extinct animal that you've never seen. The fur is spotted, and they have holes in their chest where hearts would be.
She grabs the water from the watering jug that she's saved from the river, and then she automatically charges at them and then fits the watering jug right into where their heart should be.
Okay, so
Only they do not have the same reaction as Tess did.
So roll what you're gonna need to roll is a D10, and you're gonna need to roll 3 of them.
3 of them.
This is what's known as a demon roll, so you have to roll above your number.
So what was my number again?
6.
Your number was 6.
6?
So you have to get a higher than 6, and if you get a 6, something amazing happens.
Alright, she got a 4, a 4,
And a 9.
and a 9.
Okay.
I got 2 4s and a 9.
So you get 1 success. It the jug goes into its chest, but you shove it into that hole with so much force that the jug shatters. And as it does, it seems to blow a hole into the back of this thing, but the water splashes across your arm, leaving your one of your arms shredded.
Screaming in pain, I ask, "What is this water?"
And the guy you razor watered just sort of steps back away from you. Looks like he's struggling to stand up before he just falls to his knees and then collapses, leaving only a single one of these things left. And I'd like to think the one that's left was the one that just tore apart Houdini's thigh. So with your thigh torn up, Houdini, this guy he goes to grab you like around your neck and start pulling you away.
Popping up in front of him for a second, but realizing, kind of looking into his eyes, kind of liking the feeling that it was having his arm to his neck, kind of smiling right before he pops up right where he originally had him, liking that feeling. He kind of smiles almost instinctively enjoying the feeling of that slight suffocation.
And apparently you're not fighting being drug away. So he begins to drag you away. Um, but in the chaos of everything, the one that was transformed into this plant bird raven is still alive. Like he's out of the combat, he's out of the picture, but he's still living. The others seem to have died. And you can hear the sound if you've ever heard an alligator make that sort of like sound that they make, that throaty growl followed by this weird hiss. Like you can hear that billow in the skies above as as Houdini is being drug away by the last hunter to be able to take any of you captive.
Mortal. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Morta's gonna hear the sound and look up to the sky, and she's gonna just kind of nonchalantly say, "Well, we clearly don't have time to rescue him."
I think that would kind of be the last thing Houdini kind of hears before being dragged away. Kind of realizing that he has the power to kind of be pulled away, but being kind of struck between being pulled away and not realizing that his fate is in the hand, realizing that he might have a little bit more fun being dragged away, but realizing that he is being pulled so far away from the rest of, I guess, his, for the sake of the one shot crew, he pops up almost instinctively back with the rest of them, kind of rubbing his neck softly as if he liked the feeling, but realizing he has something a little bit better now that he has his friends more than he did before.
All right. I guess as it's almost poetic how Houdini puffs back around you guys. Like his leg is still eviscerated. There's still several of these sharp black uh there's still several of these sharp black things, embedded in Houdini's leg. Um and as he puffs back in, you guys can hear like the canopy of the trees starting to crack, crumble, and it there's almost like a dance of light as the canopy begins to open up as a large human figure, lands on the ground. He, similar to the men you just fought, is nearly naked, wearing almost nothing. He's very pale of skin. He has long, straight hair, and a very like long, straight beard. He's blonde, and he's covered in markings, but these markings seem to be etched into his flesh, and he's easily twice as tall as any of the men that you fought. And as he lands, he begins to stand erect, face his palms upward, and when he does so, those that you have killed seem to move again. And Morta, being a necromancer, you can actually feel life starting to etch back into these bodies.
Can I, being the powerful necromancer that I am, try to halt it and bring their hold back to me as dead corpses?
Yeah.
Okay.
While she is doing this, I will attempt to help her by distracting the large gentleman by simply raving about how disappointed I am at his choice in formal wear. You really, if you're going to be fighting, if you're going to be putting on this pompous show, you may wish to dress the part.
All right, Dr. Justice Montenegro. Can you please give me a dove roll with 1 dice?
Me or her?
Dr. Justice.
All right. I rolled a 2.
What? All right, so you succeed on your dove roll, but you probably get a little bit more of this guy's attention than you want as he like turns sharply to scowl at you. However, with his attention so broken, Morta, um, you can roll with 3 dice to get control of the corpses.
All right. Okay, what do you want me to do if I roll 3? Because
Oh,
I rolled 3 on my last one.
what do you mean? What do I want you to do?
Because I rolled my number.
Oh God. All right, that's what you meant when you rolled 3, because your number's also 3.
Yeah. That's what I'm like,
All right. So how many of your dice succeed though?
They all succeeded, but my last one was 3.
Your last one was a 3. So for those of you that don't know, if you roll your number exactly, you become the dove or the demon. You gain a special ability to overcome the evil you face. If your number is above 5, you become the dove, allowing you to perform a miracle worked out with your GM. If your number is below 5, you can become the demon, allowing you to execute an enemy. If your number is 5 exactly, you choose either benefit. Okay, so I kind of like it when there's some sort of physical representation.
Okay.
All right, something about you physically changes to represent you, quote unquote, becoming the demon. And I like this idea, right? Because he is going to start changing at the same time you are as he feels his power being contested. So
Okay.
please first describe how you're changing.
She can just unconsciously almost hear Justice raving, and she tunes it out as she focuses. She sucks in the dark energy and ashes that her 2 little creatures became as she like breathed them in, and as she did, her face regressed into youth, a beautiful, like almost ethereal face, and she shrugs the heavy robes off her shoulder, and a large pair of leathery wings sprout forward, and a tail whips back and forth, licking across the ground, brushing pine straw and dirt to the side, almost like a razor whip. And from her fingertips, as her hands kind of fall to her sides and her palms open forward, she pulls at the energy inside these beings, and she tries to grasp full control of them, irreversibly so. And while she's doing this, she's just staring this abnormally tall humanoid man down, like with this just like sinister look on her face, a smug, cocky, "I've got you now" look.
And as you're transforming and you're like staring him down with that smug, cocky look, all the markings that seem to be etched into this man's flesh, they begin to move, and he begins to grow taller but he seems to be growing thinner as well. And from the etchings on his flesh, he starts to literally like sprout these purulescent scales. Like, as he's growing, they seem to be changing color from, deep green to an emerald, um, to a more like grass green, very, a lot more vibrant to different purples and blues. And then from between those scales, start to sprout feathers. And the man extends his arms outward, and you can see the two bones of the forearms split away, tear away, and reveal more feathers as they sprout out. As he begins to transform into this utterly humongous serpent that is adorned with feathers and four wings, sorry.
I'm hoping you're about to pick up what I'm throwing down. We'll see if you take it or not. Morta smiles, like ruby red lips twitching up to the side, white teeth showing, and she looks up to the creature and she says, "Don't you know, little plaything, I'm the one who brings things back from the dead?" And she just pulls upward rapidly with her hands, and the corpses that were around her jut upwards, like almost as if they're hanging by a thread from their chest, and begin to circle around her.
And I can almost imagine that as all that was happening, the orb itself was changing. The orb itself being inside Houdini's, person, not necessarily in its hand, was changing, his hips to form the different things that were happening to the serpent, seeing as the same etchings inside the orb were the same etchings inside this being. Kind of changing, I guess, Houdini's hips, changing with the same etchings and the same changes that the serpent ended up having. So Houdini's hips changing into almost that same thing as the serpent did.
So your leg is becoming a serpent tail?
Almost like his hips, whether we want to go hip high or hip low, we can change, just determine as a group. But I'm assuming because of the
I like the
fact
GM's idea that your mangled ass leg got turned into a serpent like body.
Yeah, I'm assuming because my leg was already messed up that it's low, but I mean it's DM's choice as to whether or not he wants to go high or low.
This is definitely going to be cruel. So, I think this would be a demon roll, so you'd have to roll above your number.
You want me to roll above my number?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. 1 dice, 2 dice, 3 dice.
I don't see you using anything else of your character. Like, you're not an expert at this, or you weren't prepared and nobody's helping you. So, I would say 1 dice.
Alright. We're actually at my number. We're at 5.
What?
I rolled 5 exactly.
Alright, so being at your number, again, you roll your number exactly, you become the dove or the demon. Right? So, which one of those two do you become?
Kind of in this moment being challenged per se with the transformation of the orb, changing him into the serpent that he would become if he followed whatever was to come, or choosing his own path, being challenged with whether or not to follow in the footsteps that he had been granted with in his past, or to make his own way. He chooses. And it's almost that Laura Croft moment where she's faced with her grandpa, kind of like, I want to bring you back, but you know, I'm in a dream kind of stance. He realizes he has to go with what will be best for the future. And as he kind of comes to that realization, kind of these wings sprout from his back as he, like almost angel like, sprouting with these pure white feathers, almost angelic, across the red crimson skyline.
Okay. So I'm assuming that's you becoming a dove, right?
Yes.
Alright, so you can perform some
A miracle.
Some miracle. Yeah, I think the miracle could be to take up the mantle, whatever this thing is, for a short time. But Dr. Justice and Tess, when this man transformed, and the man transformed, you've got an angelic being with a snake leg, as Houdini. You've got this nearly demonic looking Morda. What do the two of you do?
Can you repeat the question?
What are you up to? What are you doing while this is happening?
Yes.
I'm trying to...
Put yourself into character and try to react.
Remember,
I'm kind of at an awe of what's happening to Houdini as this all, but I'm also trying to focus on what the orb's doing at the same time, since it was also being interchanged, and it is our form of payment. I'm also in the back of my mind, what is going to become of all of this as he's changing?
I think as I was kind of changing, the orb itself was changing from the gold that it was supposed to be as payment, kind of becoming the serpent legs itself and returning back to its gold form, kind of wavering between the two. So everybody else answered before I determine which way it's gonna go.
What's Justice doing?
Yeah, I'm wondering what Justice is doing as.
Well, for starters, he's going to be somewhat ungentlemanly, for he is frustrated at the fact that so many things are happening at the same time and he does not have the opportunity to document them. But, alas, there is science to be done. He has found a convenient vessel. There was a vase thrown earlier with a little bit of razor water still left inside, which he can use to his advantage. He's going to attempt the same experiment he attempted just a few moments ago, And he's going to take one of his patented concoctions of health and place it in the same vase as the razor water. Take a small amount of the blood currently pouring out of his shoulder, place that in the same one, but this time he's going to try to make the potion even more powerful. He's placing 2 of his potions in there. He's going to add a few reacting agents, a few peppers that he knows will seep into the skin. And while everything else is happening, everyone growing into angels and being all big and monstrous, he is simply making his potion, taking a small stone and crushing up the various ingredients inside and mixing them together, making sure not to get his hand in the razor water. And I don't believe he has enough time to be able to enact his next plan before the big snake monsters decide to start slap fighting each other.
All right, so Dr. Justice, as you're making your concoction, and everyone is transforming into their various alternate forms, it seems the creature before you, again, remember, you captured its attention a little too well. So it transforms and it spreads its wings almost as if it wants to fly towards you, clear cutting the trees that its wings impact, as if they were mere twigs. And he strikes out. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. He strikes out at you with his large serpentine maw open. And yeah.
Well, if his large serpentine maw is open, well, I have liquid, he has hole, put liquid in hole.
So the liquid easily goes in his mouth. The jar, disappears. And his jaws clamp down onto Justice Montenegro. His and your blood intermingle as it begins escaping his mouth. The rest of you see this, and you can see, well, those of you old enough to know what a snake is would start noticing the jaws begin to unhinge as if it was going to attempt to swallow Dr. Justice whole now.
Morta takes slow steps, dust billowing out from underneath of her feet. She smiles back at Tess and looks strangely over at Houdini's form as she crosses their path. She grabs either end of the jaw, the upper and lower, and she just pries it open with brute force, letting go long enough just to grab hold of a piece of of Justice's cloth and yank him backwards. And she says, "No. This one is mine."
All right. I think that'd kind of be a. Would that be demon? Because you're kind of selfish with it.
Would you like to know my intent?
Yeah.
I want everything that's inside of his brain when he's dead. I'm keeping him alive or with me long enough that I know he's in my possession pretty much when he dies. And I don't need him decomposed by stomach acids.
Yeah, okay. So make that dove roll.
Okay.
I'm
How many?
gonna say 2 because I would assume Dr. Justice is probably.
It doesn't matter.
struggling.
Both of them fail.
Oh God. So
I can't get him out. Or I guess whatever happens.
You're struggling with the jaws, and it seems like they've they haven't quite unhinged, but the jaws being 2 separate bones, It just seems to be adapting too well. What are the rest of you guys doing? As Justice Montenegro is Dr. Justice Montenegro is about to be swallowed whole. Something? Nothing?
Seeing this being taken place, you see Houdini just yell, "Stop!" As everything kind of pauses, almost as if it reverses in time, almost as if it becomes a dream. Everything kind of reverses, and everybody sees this reversing in time. Seeing the mouth almost, I guess, vomit his every being over, everything stopping in front of him, and he has the choice. I'm kind of taking my miracle option here and saying that my entire party is, I guess, pardoned from this horror. Kind of giving everyone the option, almost as if it becomes a dream, whether or not they want everything to return to the future or to the past, or not, to everything before the apocalypse happened.
You know what? Yeah. You guys all have that option. Do you want to return to a moment before the apocalypse happened? What do you guys say?
I mean, I will never turn down the opportunity for new experiences and new data.
So that's one vote for yes.
I need fresh bodies at all times.
Okay, I'm guessing that's 2 votes for yes. Which yes.
I'm for it.
All right, so
I'm for it.
you guys pause in this moment. Dr. Justice Montenegro locked in the mouth of this feathered serpent. All right, we've got Morda struggling with its jaws, trying to get it to release this specimen that she's long awaited for. And you guys are in this lush sort of foresty jungle thing, and in this pause you can start seeing the light fade into darkness, the darkness fade into light, light into darkness, over and over and over and over and over and over again, endlessly, until you're back in a moment before the apocalypse. You guys know you're back in a moment before the apocalypse. You know what Houdini has done, as I would assume, like, his wings fade into light and everything. He's used his dove-like power, but you're still in the middle of a swelteringly hot jungle. You're still in the clutches of the jaws of this creature, Dr. Justice Montenegro. And Morda, you're still struggling.
Could I even tell the difference? Because I was probably head first into this thing.
I'm imagining he has most of you like the corner of his jaw is right above your neck, and he's ready to shift over as his next step. So you can see what's going on. You saw the days and nights pass rapidly. The temperature changed, but it never became winter. You know, it never got cold. It went from mild to nearly unbearably hot, and the air a lot thicker. There's what wasn't there before was a lot of mosquitoes and, you know, insect life. You guys can hear the, you know, the chirping of birds all throughout. Mosquitoes are flying everywhere. The guys that you had slain and are now under your control, Morta, no longer have holes in their chest. Those are gone, even though they're still dead. But yeah, you're still facing down this creature.
This has not improved our situation.
I want to let him go. I want to shove him farther into the snake's mouth.
Oh, okay. That, yeah. Are you trying to resist this in any way, Dr. Justice?
Oh no, there is far more science I can do from the inside than the outside.
All right. So
I kind of even think of it almost as if it's like a vision of what the past used to be. Kind of more as a vision of what things could be than that of which can happen in the future.
no,
More than anything.
you guys are in the past.
Yeah, as if like they're seeing things.
I think the
from
DM's
past.
saying not as if, like
No.
we're in it.
You're in the past.
Yeah, like it's not even what was happening at the point of, you know, that we encountered everything. It's kind of like stop, and we kind of saw everything that happened throughout our past. Everything that we as a race encountered throughout our history. Like, it's kind of like that defining moment as we decide what happens for our future.
Maybe you can if you survive this. I don't know, Mike. You don't seem like you. Yeah. Apparently, maybe me too. But so Dr. Justice Montenegro goes down this thing's gullet.
It is time for experiment 487-B. And this, my compatriots, is why you always keep your materials with you.
What we hear from the outside is
You're going to hear oh roar 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 roar, and then Dr. Justice Montenegro is going to pull out a very large container which he has been holding, on his person for every so often, just for a situation like this, because he's always wanted to see if this would actually work. He is going to pull out a very large bar of lithium.
Okay.
And according to what he knows, once lithium reacts with any acid, it should cause a very large explosion.
Oh, okay.
So he is going to attempt to blow his way out. So he's going to drop it and hopefully, move slightly away from it, because it does take a second for the oil around it to be able to dissolve in the acid.
All right. Will you guys
out
see?
of curiosity,
Yeah.
how do you step away from it inside of its stomach?
Yeah.
I never said he succeeded.
Oh, okay.
He's going to attempt to.
Yeah. Dr. Justice, you're doing this. What you guys see from the outside, you hear and the serpent rears up, for a second looks as if it doesn't know where it is, looks to gather its bearings, looks down at you guys, and makes motion to lift off and fly away. Dr. Justice, the inside of this thing is there is no stomach. There is no stomach. There is just rib cage holding you in.
Tess looks around and asks, should we go and help him?
No, dear. Please, let him die. Trust me.
Help us with some of our injuries.
I am thoroughly disappointed by this. It's going to take far longer for the lithium to react with the air than it is with stomach acid.
Okay.
And as he's just sort of like laying there, just awkwardly against the ribcage, he's just going to pull out a small pocket watch. It doesn't even work. He's just looking at it to pass the time.
Okay. Morta's standing on the floor is watching the snake start to take off. She's kind of sitting there like, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Okay, clearly this isn't working. Tess, do something barbaric, some feat of strength. I don't know. Grab it by its tail and knock it around.
All right. Grabs it by its tail, tries to grab a knife in her pocket, and tries to stab it all over the place, wherever she can.
Okay, so roll stabbing it all over the place. And roll 3d10 and let me know what you get.
Here you go. So she got a
5,
an
7,
8, and a
8.
7.
Okay, a 5, 7, and 8. This being as violent as it was would have been a demon roll. I forgot to state that beforehand. But a 5 does succeed. It succeeds and something goes a little bit complicated. So you went from hearing to ow as you cut holes near, some of the stabbing is where Justice Montenegro is, like right where he is, and you might stab him a little bit, but you open up holes in this creature, and it roars out. More in anger than in pain.
And from the inside, as he is being repeatedly stabbed, Dr. Justice is simply crying out, "You are going to be paying for the tailoring on this suit!"
We got paid earlier this week.
Rude.
Do I still have my floating corpses of doom?
Yeah.
Can I bludgeon the snake with floating corpses of doom?
Sure thing.
I would like to bludgeon the snake creature with Justice still inside.
Okay, is this using your demon thing?
I'm still in my demon form, right?
You're still in your demon form. You basically still have the ability to defeat this thing.
Okay, what I want to do is target Justice. I want to kill Justice. Not the creature necessarily, but Justice.
Okay.
And if I succeed upon doing that, I then want to take control of his body. But he can play it out as him. Because he's smart and all that stuff like that.
Alright.
I basically turned him immortal by killing him, and he still retains his mind. But maybe he's a little bit bent to my will or something like that. Like I hang it over his shoulder like blackmail in the future. That's what I want from this scenario.
And how does that result in the creature being defeated?
That'll be up to Justice because it's his cunning mind that will save the day.
Oh, okay. So Justice, the zombie formerly known as Justice Montenegro.
I mean, for the most part, Justice was content to sitting there waiting for the oil to run off of the lithium to allow it to explode and gain him a means of escape, or whatever would result from him being able to actually get to the outside of this creature. But apparently, he's been stabbed multiple times and bludgeoned to death.
Sorry, not sorry.
I
Not
know.
intentional.
I don't believe you. So he is going to, his own lack of life notwithstanding, attempt to, I guess, considering that his potion did not work, his lithium did not work, stabbing it did not work, bludgeoning it did not work, he's just going to try to crawl back up where he came down.
You also get to kill this thing.
Yeah.
It was my success to kill it, but I'm giving you the acting it out and what happens.
Oh, I'm intending on escaping out of its mouth, snapping its neck, and basically using its own momentum to pile drive it into the ground.
Cool.
So there you go. That's how you kill this thing.
Okay.
So,
And I think seeing his face kind of as the serpent's mouth open up wide enough so that way we can see our own friend's head kind of like coming out of its esophagus, you see Houdini laughing his ass off, like hysterically, like like this random okay, I'm not gonna say that because that's just horrible.
It's funny.
But I'm gonna say it anyway because my wife said it, and I'm gonna be the asshole who says it. My wife says, "Think that's what you call deep throat," and as I laugh my ass off, I'm just gonna look at him and be like, "That's how you do it," and yeah.
all right. So, yeah, he's joking while you're killing a god. And I think after the creature is like crushed, snapped, slammed, pile drived, full of holes, and the whole nine, the body starts to warp and shrinks down to that large man's form, continues to shrink and change until it's just a large stone head that's left. And from the trees just beyond this little area that was cleared out when the creature destroyed, all the surroundings, emerges that last warrior that had eviscerated Houdini's leg, no longer carrying the weapon. As a matter of fact, carrying no weapons. The warrior steps forward, removes the hide. It had the head of the feline obscuring his own face. And Morta, you notice that this guy, he's fairly well built. He's pretty young looking. Is actually old hunter Braun. And from beneath his feet, a bunch of shattered glass with spider legs starts crawling from the grass up his legs into the hole where his heart was, eventually filling the hole and turning back into flesh.
Is he young or old?
He's young.
Okay.
He's like brand new. And he looks at all of you. He grins like off the side of his cheek. And as the camera starts to pan out, you just hear him say, "Welcome to your second chance," and that's gonna be this game. Yeah. So basically, I hope you guys like had fun with that.
That was awesome.
I tried to what I ended up rolling was a mythological creature wants to create humans to sustain it. So what I ended up with was Quetzalcoatl, because there's an old myth about how mankind was once destroyed when they were still like apes, and I think it was the third age of the Mayan world. Quetzalcoatl went to the underworld and brought the humans back. So with like that myth, he was bringing humans back from hell to worship him, but he would also have them sacrificed, so have their hearts removed, and then he would bring them back again to continue worshiping him, and expand that out. And he was changing the landscape to be more like South America back in those days. And you guys are in what is it, like 1700s? We've got Doves and Demons, an ancient ass necromancer, a crazy, weird, who knows what he is? I don't even know. Maybe he's the real Houdini. Who knows?
I mean, I'm popping up here and there everywhere.
Yeah.
When you mentioned, because like at the beginning of the game, you mentioned that they were like bringing them back from the dead, and I was like, "Am I the bad guy?"
No, you are a bad guy.
The whole game, I was like, "I want to be the bad guy. I want to be the bad guy."
Yeah, that was once the Green Meadows was said, and like that was the different thing. That's what made me, I don't know, that slapped Quetzalcoatl in my head.
Well, I guess my goal was completed because my personal goal was to kill Justice and make him my zombie. So
I don't know if my personal goal was completed in that one. I wanted to make a scientific discovery.
I'd say you did. You scientifically discovered yourself as a zombie.
You
I did not know that we were supposed to have goals.
You made something scientific that was kind of a discovery, though you fabricated it when you turned a motherfucker into a tree. Demon, hellbound, immortal.
And you're also in the past now, so you're about to make an assload of scientific discoveries.
This is true.
I am just surprised that I was the only one who rolled at my number and decided to actually go miracle to bring everything back to the past.
Yeah, that was interesting. That's why I was like, back to the past, back to the past. They go back to fucking old ancient South America. Cool, let's do it.
At least I helped you out with your whole South American, old-fashioned god theory.
Yes, thank you for helping me with my theory. But that was fun.
It was definitely interesting.
I gotta be honest. When we were coming up, well, Marquise came up with Doves and Demons, but when I was turning it into, the pages and designing it, I never expected a game like this to pop out from it. I will definitely say that.
Is that a good thing?
I was
would
about to ask the
say
same
as long
thing.
as everybody enjoys themselves, the game is always a good thing.
Okay, but that's avoiding the question. Is that a good thing for you?
Did you enjoy yourself?
Again, that's pawning off.
No. I'm going to answer the question. Did you have a good time?
It was definitely interesting. It was definitely different than the last time I played.
You're pawning off the question. Now, everybody seemed to enjoy themselves for the most part. Tess, you did, honestly, when you spoke up, you did a fantastic job for your first time. Like,
Thank
honestly, like, pat yourself on the back because you really, really did a good job when you were, talking and stuff. The only suggestion I would ever make to you is like if you're gonna like play again, is don't be afraid to step in and like stomp on people and be like, "What's up, bitch? I'm a badass."
No, I'm
Because like
I'm
when you
nervous.
were
It's the
role
first
playing, you
time.
were good. You were very good.
I've been deflowered.
And maybe don't name your character testicles, but
Yeah, that's
Why is it? I thought people usually just name like give weird names. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, you're probably right. Probably have not. People won't take me seriously.
I tried to give you that nickname to help you.
Solid attempt.
And I love Justice's character, honestly. I thought he was very
I
enjoyable.
was in love with his character. Very interesting.
He is a returning character, actually. I have
Oh,
played
is he?
him. I have played him before.
I believe I've seen you play him before, in fact, if it was live streamed, because I remember your voice and I remember like that type of behavior.
It might have been, but
Dude,
I haven't played him in a while.
Dr. Justice
It would have been a while ago that I
Montenegro
watched it.
would have
Like a
been
long
the
time.
second character I think you played in one of my games.
Yes, and that time I played. That was the only time I ever played him as a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was honestly trying to be something completely different than I was the last time. So what do you think in comparison to the last time that I played with you?
We got a super bad echo.
Yeah, you do.